Hello and welcome to another episode of Sportscast Jersey. Today we are joined by local football player Libby Barnett.
We would just play for hours and hours with friends on the estate. That's how me and my best friend Sean really got into football together. Until a fantastic lady, Katrina Tannehill, was my first ever coach, decided to set up a girls team, and we had enough interest from those who were local to the western parishes to come together and form a team. I think over the years, especially as the female game has developed, there's been other clubs that have been stronger than Wanderers in the past, but I've never once looked sideways to join another team. I've just always loved Wanderers. We've been losing teams, and to now be in a 14 league is obviously not anybody's preference. We would love to be playing regular competition. The one I will never forget is winning gold in the 2015 games, home games. This year was just a kind of like a long time coming. It was a home game as well. We were definitely more than ready for it. Yeah, really excited. Can't wait for some new opposition to be back playing against the other islands, and hopefully we can steal it from the donkeys on their own turf.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sportscast Jersey. Today we are joined by local football player Libby Barnett. How are we doing, Libby?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Dan. How are you?
Good. Yeah, not bad, thanks. Not bad. We'll take it right from the start. Have you always been sporty from a young age growing up?
Yeah, I think for me, it came from my family. My dad is a mad football fan. My mum's always loved the game too. So really growing up, didn't have much choice in the matter. Not that I was obviously disappointed in that, but yeah, football and sport has always been in my family. So yeah, it's been a huge part of us growing up.
Yeah. What are your first memories of football, like just growing up, kicking the ball around before any club got involved?
Always kicking a ball around with my dad and my brother in the garden. We used to play for hours, as I'm sure every young footballer did, playing until it got dark. We had a little plastic goal with netting just outside in the front garden, and my brother was always forced to go and goal. Not that he necessarily always wanted to, but I'd much preferred scoring goals than saving them. So we would just play for hours and hours with friends on the estate. That's how me and my best friend Sean really got into football together, and just really lovely, fond childhood memories of just, playing out on any piece of grass that we could find.
Yeah, for sure. And I know your dad's a big Chelsea fan. You're a big Chelsea fan. How good is that as well in the family just to have that bond over Chelsea as well?
It's really lovely. We love watching the games together. We love going away to watch the games together if we can make it work. It's just it's a lovely part of our family, and for our sins, we've followed Chelsea from day dot. So we've been privileged to watch them perform to a better level over the past few seasons. We're still waiting for the men to step up this season, but the women's team are certainly flying the flag in the meantime.
Yeah, for sure. What was girls' football like over here when you were growing up? Was there a girls' team, or did you have to play with the boys?
I was actually quite fortunate when I first started playing for Wanderers. Myself, my best friend Sean, we started joining the boys' team or a mixed team until a fantastic lady, Katrina Tannehill, was my first ever coach. Decided to set up a girls' team, and we had enough interest from those who were local to the western parishes to come together and form a team. The only other team at the time was First Tower Girls, so we played against them on a regular basis, as you can imagine, with the only being two girls teams. We used to have quite regular tournaments, competitions against Guernsey back in the day then. So although it was a small junior female community, we really enjoyed the competitive nature, and it's great to see that so many of those girls that I played with and against, those girls that played for First Hour, the likes of Lara Couver, Katie Sampson, are all still playing football now. So it obviously did us well back then.
Yeah, it's amazing where you name those names. I'm going to touch on Sean because obviously I know Sean as well. How good is it? Obviously, Wanderers is where you found each other, but how good has that friendship been over the years?
Yeah, I mean, Sean's my best friend. We actually met at Lemoy School, and it just was our luck, really, that we lived on estates that kind of backed onto each other, and we both come from football families. So we did everything together. We played football together, we went to school together, we had the same friendship groups, and that hasn't changed. So I feel really, really lucky. It was actually her and her dad who introduced me to Wanderers. Darren Noble's been at Wanderers for longer than I've been alive. And is a real club legend in his own right, and he introduced me to the club, and Sean and I have kind of gone from there. And I think over the years, especially as the female game has developed, there's been other clubs that have been stronger than Wanderers in the past, but I've never once looked sideways to join another team. I've just always loved Wanderers and always will love Wanderers. They're just my club, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
How you joined when you were 7, you were telling me, and how big has that club been over the year, both obviously on the pitch and but off the pitch as well, socially?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Westie, and I've always grown up living out West the Island. So for me, it was practical in getting to and from training. I've loved all my teammates and my coaches that I've played with, and it's just, I suppose, every community club is like a family, and I really feel that with Wanderers we've got some really fantastic people within the club, especially those that have been around for so long, that we're friends, and we get on with each other outside of football. It just so happens that we all enjoy the same sport and we get to play alongside each other on the pitch. But yeah, it's been a fantastic club for me, and like every club, we've definitely had our ups and downs. I think our clubhouse at the moment and our financial future is something that's really under contest, and something that we're really striving to try and rectify and secure the future of our club. But that's not possible with, like any club, without great people, and we're really fortunate with some of the volunteers that we have.
Yeah, it is a great club. Obviously, I was involved last year, and I really enjoyed my year. And yeah, it's really good.
I didn't pay you to say that.
No, you didn't at all. Um, how's this season going for the team? Let's start with Wanderers before we talk about the league. How's it been? Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, we started off well. We're lucky enough to have a couple of players back that took some time out. Lauren Kemar is just back from having a baby, so we really missed her while she was away. Our constant rock at the back, and it's great to have her back in the team. We've got lots of youngsters coming up through the ranks that have really performed this season. The likes of Sophia and Hannah, who it's hard to imagine a team without them at the moment. So yeah, we've had a good start to the season. It's always a little bit rockier, I find, with the women's game. We've all got lives outside of football, which is the same for, I'm sure, our male counterparts. But those additional issues of players getting pregnant and having time out for babies is an additional factor that we need to keep in mind. So we've had a little bit of fluctuation between the squad, but yeah, we've got a good core group of us that still carry on and have been enjoying the game when we've been able to play. I know we've had some bad luck with frozen pitches and awful flooding and things, but hopefully the sunshine's here to stay.
Yeah, hopefully. A word about the league. Obviously, it's been in the news. It's been much of the discussion within the women's football. What are your opinions of the way it is at the moment? Obviously, only 4 clubs. What are your opinions on it at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, the women's game over the past few years is in I wouldn't say a decline, but we've been losing teams, and to now be in a 4-team league is obviously not anybody's preference. We would love to be playing regular competition against lots of teams week in, week out. I think COVID has obviously had a bit of an impact. Pre-COVID, we had a Channel Islands League. It was fantastic. We got to go over and play against Guernsey, and obviously vice versa, welcome them here to play against our local clubs. Grouville have been struggling since the start of the season to attract and retain some new players. And like we've had open and honest conversations with Grouville, is that if it's not Grouville, it's one of us. Jersey Wanderers were in that position a good few seasons ago, until we were lucky enough to welcome quite a few St Paul's players when they disbanded. But again, St Paul's disbanded meant that we were to benefit, but it meant losing another team. So the way that the league is structured at the moment, and the way that the league will be structured in future, is definitely something that we're all keen to to have a look at and see how can we improve it, whether that's different formats of the game, looking at introducing, I don't know, 5-a-side, 7-a-side, 9-a-side, to improve the competitive offer. Wednesday Night FC have come in and done some fantastic stuff with offering an informal recreational version of the game, but I kind of feel like at the moment we've got a bit of a gap in the middle that we're not quite bridging for those players who like to play socially but haven't perhaps experienced competitive football or haven't for a while. Could we introduce some kind of 7-9-a-side league format that kind of, like I say, bridges that and then prepares players to enter the 11-a-side game? So we'll see. There's definitely work going on in the background, and Jersey FA have been great in supporting us in that. We're looking at consultation with past, future, present female players about what that could look like, and ensuring that everybody has a buy-in to what the game could look like in Jersey in future. So watch the space. Maybe we'll have another podcast in future and I can update you on all the good things we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing that I like about the women's game is it's very much a community. You may all like play for different clubs and what have you, but you come together and try and sort these issues out and help each other out. How good is that as well?
Yeah, like you say, we're a bit of a community. We're all mates off the field, which is really great. I think because we are a small community and perhaps we've all been through similar sorts of adversity of trying to get into the game and establishing ourselves and almost having to prove ourselves as female footballers. Sometimes you kind of have this association with each other, this unwritten rule that we all get each other and we all want to support each other to ensure that we all continue to get these opportunities to play and are recognised for our own efforts on our own accord. So yeah, we're all mates, and as you've experienced, we've got a good social side out off the pitch, and that definitely helps. It's something that I hope we really hold on to, that culture within the game, no matter what happens to the formats going forward.
Yeah, and how do you think the women's game's been looked at by overall the football community? But also, do you think, you mentioned before that they do, but do you think Jersey FA do enough to help you guys out?
Yeah, Jersey FA have been doing some fantastic stuff with the junior game. We've developed some junior leagues. The JFA have run their own Wildcat sessions, and obviously they support the Player Development Centre, the PDC, which is the girls only player performance programme. JFA do a lot, and I'm aware, as with any organisation, that they're limited on resource and capacity. So in terms of the senior game, that's something that we've addressed, is perhaps something that we all need to focus and channel a little bit more effort into, and the JFA have been supportive of that. Again, time resource is going to be something that determines the speed of any new plans or programs coming into place, but always appreciate the support that the guys at the JFA and the girls, Amy Tierney at the moment is sort of covering for Lucy Even's role. We appreciate their time and support as much as they can give.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on a bit, you've had a lot of good times with Jersey, representing Jersey as well. Is there any games or moments or tournaments that stand out to you?
I mean, the one I will never forget is winning gold in the 2015 Island Games, home games, Springfield Stadium. It was a really hot week. The pitch in particular, because it's obviously the rubber crumb surface, it was like almost 40 degrees. So you would slide on it and burn your leg, which my dear football friend Kelly Hughes obviously was a victim of. She lost so many layers of skin, bless her, and her leg was infected for the week. But we were never tipped to win or even perhaps to get to the final, but just being in front of our family and friends. I mean, it wasn't by chance either. We trained so hard as a unit, and we really felt we're in the best position, and to win the gold medal in front of that huge crowd at Springfield was just topped off one of the best weeks of my life. Yeah, it was just incredible.
How was it playing in front of that crowd? Were you nervous going into it, or is that something that you really love to do?
I do get a little bit nervous as a player, but it was weird that week. I think because we were riding this high, and obviously the games are so compact together that you'd kind of come off the pitch having, obviously with the Island Games, you get through the group stages, semi-final and final quite quickly. So you almost didn't have too much time to process it, which was probably a good thing. It meant that I didn't get too nervous. It was just like, we've got nothing to lose. how often do you get to represent your island in front of everybody at such a fantastic games? We just kind of like took the adrenaline with us and just channeled it into a really, really positive energy. And all of us were just on the same vibe. We just really came together as a team, and it was all happy, healthy nerves. And obviously that showed with us getting the result that we were looking for.
Yeah, amazing. Let's touch on Moretti's as well. Obviously, there was a bit of a gap before last year's Moretti as well. How good are those days, and how good was last year having it back as well?
Yeah, I think the Moretti is something particularly in the women's game that we've just been wanting to return back to its normal state for so long. Obviously, football was at a bit of a standstill during COVID, but the men were lucky enough, and the juniors, to keep that competitive interinsular annual match with Guernsey. However, the women's game, we suffered, I think it was a 6 or 7 year gap, purely just because Guernsey weren't in a position to field a senior women's team at the side. So it was obviously incredibly frustrating for us being able to, I mean, we were watching there in support, the men, the seniors, the juniors, on their Morettis, and we were just sort of frustrated from the sideline. So this year was just a kind of like a long time coming. It was a home game as well. We were definitely more than ready for it. And it was a good competitive game. And I think we'd be sad if that fixture wasn't regularly in the calendar again, but we appreciate that Guernsey on a bit of a transition, and we just hope that we get to welcome them to us every other year, and this May we'll be heading to Guernsey to replay that fixture.
Yeah. The last few questions on representing Jersey. Obviously, a big year coming up with the Island Games in Guernsey as well. It's the Moretti in Guernsey. How excited are you and the girls for that as well?
Yeah, we're buzzing. Obviously, the Guernsey Island Games has been postponed since 2021. So yeah, the girls we're all really excited. I think we've had a good competitive league structure this year through ourselves at Wanderers, St Lawrence, Roselle and Grouville, and now to be able to channel that into a Summer Island Games, those who are sort of within the preliminary squad to be selected from a ready and ready to go, a competitive. We've got a game, a couple of like warm-up games just in-house to prep for that, and hopefully to give Chad and Kira, the island coaches, a little bit of an easier task to try and narrow down the squad that will be travelling on the plane to Guernsey. But yeah, really excited. Can't wait for some new opposition to be back playing against the other islands, and hopefully we can steal it from the donkeys on their own turf.
Yeah, for sure. They can't wait for it. It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask. I didn't put these down on the question, so it's going to be on the spot.
Okay.
Jersey Bulls was rumored to be thinking about a women's team as well. How keen would the top players be for that?
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity that not many players would turn down. The Bulls are going to offer a competitive element that currently we at a level that we can't currently offer on Ireland. So, like I mentioned before, we're a 4-team league. It can become quite repetitive playing the same team within leagues and cup competitions. So to be able to offer something off Ireland with opposition that we don't know who we're playing against, we don't know what level they're going to be against, is a real opportunity for especially our talented, our better players on Ireland to strive for. So like I say, I don't think you'll find many players that would turn down that opportunity. The logistics of how the Bulls are going to be set up, I'm not quite sure of at the moment. I think that's something that the club are perhaps dealing with behind the scenes with support of the JFA. But if and when that comes off, I'm sure that there'll be lots and lots of interest from our local female players to step up and represent Jersey off Ireland.
Yeah, for sure. Question for you here: who kind of been the better players or the standout players that you've played with over the years?
I've been fortunate to play with lots of players. I started playing for Wanderers, like you say, when I was 7, and played for Wanderers and for the Island side since 16. So there's been lots and lots of players that have been standout for me. I think some of the die-hard Wanderers, like the likes of Andrea Allen, Simi, have just been fantastic players that when I was growing up through Wanderers, I thought, wow, I'd love to be one of those players that just I've always played for Wanderers, and people recognise and kind of see as like the core, the heart of the team. I think the same for the Ireland team for a long time. I'm fortunate to play with still quite a few of the players that I've played with since growing up, like of Jodie Botcher, who obviously represented internationally playing for Wales and captained the Jersey side for a long time. Jessica Castro, I'm over the moon that she's back in the Ireland setup and hopefully looking to push herself to be selected for yet another Ireland Games after having 2 children. Those sorts of players, to me, have always been players that I've admired and looked up to. And I think we've got a good core of younger, I'm sure they won't mind me saying that, players who have always been on the radar, likes of Holly Merhead, Eve Watson, Tiff, Sarah Luce, who's playing over in the UK at the moment, but has been our sort of rock goalkeeper for a number of seasons. All these players that consistently show passion and commitment to the sport are all ones to admire and to hopefully provide motivation, inspiration for the younger players coming up now to look towards and aspire to be in future.
Yeah, for sure. That was a tough question for you because I know you played with a lot of good players. So thanks for answering it. You're coaching now too. How much do you enjoy that side of the game, and how much do you enjoy inspiring and guiding the younger players now?
Yeah, I've always loved coaching. I've started when I was at university, and I suppose on perhaps a more ad hoc basis as I came back. But over the last few years, we've set up a girls section at Wanderers, which started with just 12 players 3 years ago, and we've now got over 55 girls within 3-4 age groups that enjoy playing recreationally, socially, and then we've also got a group of girls that are really quite competitive and love the league format and the sort of the fixtures that competitive edge provides. We've got a really great group of coaches as well, which I'm really fortunate to work with, and obviously with that amount of girls, can't possibly be done by a small group. So we've got coaches, we've got some of the senior Wanderers female players, we've got some parents helping us out, we've got a couple of coaches that have always coached predominantly within the boys game and have kind of helped us within the girls game too. So really fortunate to be part of that setup. And I think as well, sort of did a little bit of stint coaching within the Jersey FA PDC, understanding your contribution to players in their sort of early developmental stages of their player pathway and early careers is really something to be quite privileged to be a part of. And it's great when you then see them entering the senior women's leagues or going off to the UK or America on scholarships and think, wow, I remember you when you were this big, or probably the same size as me, obviously, but seeing them to then develop and stay in the game, most importantly, is something that it's just really fills me with pride and I feel really happy to be a part of.
Yeah, is that the key? The staying in the game, because obviously there's a big number. I've seen how many people go to the Wanderers training sessions, and then is that the key to try and keep them in the game to go into the seniors?
Yeah, absolutely. Ultimately, we want as many females playing football as possible. So that means holding on to them through the minis, juniors, and then into the senior pathway. We see, like many other sports, we see a huge dropout of girls between the ages of 13, 14. So we don't always reap the rewards of our hard work in the minis and juniors section up into our senior pathway. And that's something that we're all aware that we need to work really hard to do. And we have. The JFA have been great in that, in trying to engage these younger players in coaching, officiating to keep them in the game. I think if you keep them in the game in more than one area, they're more than likely to keep playing. So that's really been great. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, trying to encourage players to enter the senior game in different formats. If 11-a-side football isn't necessarily for them, how else can we keep them in the game? That's going to be our next challenge. But yeah, the more females playing football, the better. So come and play. Come and play with us.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it helps that I went down to the JFA training the other night, and it was just countless number of people who play now for senior teams. How good is that factor in it as well. The coaches being players and for the girls to look up to.
Absolutely, it's role modeling in its finest form. I'm a huge believer that if you can't see it, you can't be it. So for me to have, and I was lucky enough to have a female coach when I was playing when I first joined Wanderers, and for me that was just, it was almost like a no-brainer. Well, of course I can be a coach when I'm older because Katrina was a coach.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, if you don't see it, if you're always looking at role models or leaders who don't look or sound or whatever like you, then you just, it's really easy to understand how people think that they can't be it. So that's been really important with sort of women's football being on TV, and I'm over the moon to be able to flick on my TV and be able to watch Chelsea women play twice a week. It's fantastic, and you can see that with female officials too. More and more female refs, female linos. It's great. Young girls can look at that and go, "Oh, I can do that one day," and hopefully aspire to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, amazing. In your opinion, how does the future of women's football look in Jersey? Is it bright?
It's definitely bright. If you have a look at our junior setups, and ourselves at Wanderers, Roselle and St Lawrence have all got bursting junior girls programs. We're almost to a point where, I mean, Roselle are definitely at a point where they're turning away girls because they just simply don't have the pitch space or the coaches or the squad size to accommodate. And I know that us at Wanderers will follow close behind, and St Lawrence too. So it's really looking bright. We'd encourage other clubs to try and set up similar structures to accommodate a girls only pathway. Like I say, the future looks bright if that trajectory continues, but our real challenge is ensuring that those numbers continue to rise as they progress through the junior and then the senior pathways. But yeah, overall, if our junior programs are anything to go by, it's certainly looking bright indeed.
Yeah, and how much would you encourage maybe those girls to come to women's matches on a Sunday morning as well, and their parents to bring them along?
Yeah, I think it's funny you mentioned that actually. I had a conversation with one of our junior girls' parents just this weekend. He brought his daughter along to come and play our game on Sunday morning against St Lawrence. And for whatever reason, for whatever silly reason, I haven't always put the two together. I mean, we're their coaches and we're their role models, but we don't always promote our senior game. And that's something that we definitely need to do more from. And I know that young girl in particular loved it. It was incredible not only seeing her coaches play, but to see females playing on a big pitch at her local club on a Sunday morning in the sunshine. That is something that we should be pushing more. So perhaps that's my actions to take away from this and make sure that I spread the news about our upcoming fixtures. But yeah, it's a great opportunity. Why shouldn't we be saying, look, you can be us and come along and support us, and this will be you one day.
Yeah, exactly. The final word on, we'll go back to the Moretti and Ireland games. How important or how confident are you that you can go there, get the gold medal, get the Moretti, and bring it back to Jersey?
Yeah, I mean, you ask any one of the girls, and not only are they buzzing about the Iron Games being back on, but especially it being just over the water in Guernsey. I think that's like almost like a double motivation. We would hate to. Nobody likes to go to Guernsey and lose anything. So we're obviously setting our sights on bringing back another gold medal. I think after 2015 games, we've had some really competitive matches, but only sort of challenged ourselves to a bronze medal and bringing back home a couple of bronze medals. Now, they're fantastic matches and we still count that as success, but we'll definitely be striving for gold. So us and the girls, we're motivated, we're ready to go. We're already in training with our clubs outside of the pitch. And then as we come together as an island unit over the next sort of month or so. So yeah, we're really hoping that we can bring home that gold medal, and just hope that everybody gets behind us, whether that's over the water in Guernsey or on social media, and just trying to support us to sort of push us, strive us on for that gold medal.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you for coming on the podcast, Libby. It's been great talking about everything women's football and talking about yourself.
Thanks for having me.
Great. That was another episode of Sportscast Jersey with Libby. Another episode is coming soon.